Yeah, easier.
Okay.
Yes, okay.
Hello, Yann.
Hello.
I will put all the rest of participants in mute if you don't mind, and we can start. Okay, should be all right. And there will be the chance to make some questions and participate actively in a second moment. Okay, this will not be a long meeting. I'll try to be quick because also I have limitations on Zoom, but hopefully we will touch all the main points. So I was checking, not here, okay, a bit better. Yeah. So Yann, tell us about you. What is your profession and what is your role in the French Federation of Canoe and Kayak?
Yeah. Okay. So in my profession is not. I'm not in sports world. I am a chief of youth office policy in a small town.
Yes.
And I work for the French Federation and for the International Canoe Federation as volunteer. And so in the two federation, I work on the classification, and I am a technical classifier for the International Canoe Federation and head of classification, so the director for the French Canoe Federation. Just to understand, I think we have some people who know the classification before, but the classification is yet a process we do with two person, one medical classification, would check the physical capacity of the athlete, and then technical classifier who check the capacity of on the sport. So sometimes we can have different observation and different scoring for different sports or different canoe. For example, for the sprint one, we have one classification for the double paddle, the kayak, and we have another classification for the single paddle. It's not the same classification. The same person can have different classification in the two boats. It may change each time we change of sport.
So basically, why classification is important? Let's explain this clear for people who don't know nothing about adaptive sports.
Yeah. Okay. By classification it's here since the beginning of the para sport, and it's a process to try to make equality between the different athletes who are different impairment. So we try to know if you have amputees, you have paraplegic, you have someone who have a head trauma. We try to find what they can do without the impairment, and we make classes. We make group of athletes who can do the same performance. Sometimes there are different impairments, but they can do the same race and make the same performance at the end.
So it can happen. It can happen that, for example, in a WAVESKI, let's make it for the WAVESKI. If in a WAVESKI competition you have more than one competition because of different classifications.
Oh, for this moment, in quite all the para sport, we have this system with different classes, and so we have, for example, for the canoe sprint, which is in Paralympics program, we have 3 class for the single paddle and 3 class for the double paddle, and so you can be the Olympic champion for the kayak level 3, and which is less impairment athletes, And you have another Olympics champion for the kayak level 2 and for the kayak level 1. But in the WAVESKI, it's not actually the way we take to work on the classification. We have not a lot of athletes.
Exactly. It would need at least 30 athletes to make a decent competition.
Yeah. So, and the aim of the adaptative athletes I work with is to have an open system when at the finish at the competition you have only one winner, and you don't know which is the winner. Perhaps it will be the less impairment athletes, but perhaps it will be a middle impairment athlete, because we try to find a moderate coefficient to put everybody in the same line, in the same equality, to correct the impairment and the thing you can't do because you have some kind of impairment. For example, you have not all your trunk ability, and so it's not so easy that when you have your trunk and one part of your leg to be in the wave, etc. So we have to find the system, to find the more moderate coefficient to put everybody has a notation in the wave.
Yes.
And for example, the more impairment will be a very low score, low notation, because he can do a lot of things in the wave, but we know he is a big impairment, and we decided to give him a big moderate coefficient to meet.
Yes, I understand. It's like to compensate with a handicap.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Yeah. And okay, let's try to make clear to our public what is happening around adaptive surfing in general and the adaptive sports oriented to the Olympics. So what is the chance that we have as wave ski riders to join the Olympics? This is my aim. I make it very obvious, you know, but what is the process and what is the single things that we can do as you know, as a network, as a wave ski family? What can we do in order to make this process go?
I can be complete after with Julie Gray, which is here, and she's know exactly the process.
Hello, Julie. I will unmute you just for a while, so you can say hello. Okay, I'm asking you to unmute. Maybe you should do it. Okay. Yeah.
It's not obviously the biggest thing is to first of all get it into the Olympics. You've got more chance of getting it into the Paralympics if it's already in the Olympics.
Yeah,
that would be my first thought.
Yes. Yeah. If the valid sport is in the Olympic Games, you may have more parallel similitude in the Paralympics game. And the Paralympic Games is organized by the International Paralympic Committees, which is an international organization for the adaptive sport. And a lot of us, and the canoe is in this case, we come from the valid world. For the canoe, the adaptative canoe, the para canoe, is organized by the International Canoe Federation, not for the International Paralympic Committees.
Yes, because so, the two main entities for surfing are not only for surfing, but in the surf, there is the ICF, International Canoe Federation, and ISA, which is International Surfing Association. These are the two entities which are making the selection for the Paralympics and the Olympics, right?
No, it's the federation who makes the selection officially for the Olympic Games. For the Paralympic Games, it's us. It's the International Canoe Federation who makes the selection, but we can't put the name of each athlete in the Paralympic Games without coming through the National Paralympics Committee. So we have always to come back to the Paralympic Federation, national or international. And the second thing to know is that the Olympics game and the Paralympic Games, it's a closed system. So they have decided to have only a limited number of athletes and sports in the game, in the Paralympic and in the Olympic Games. So if we want to have a place, if we want to have surfing in the Olympic Games, it's supposed to take another sport out the Olympic Games or the Paralympic Games. So it's a difficult way, it's a difficult job to have its place. For example, for the paracanoe, when we went to the Olympic Games in Rio, we put the sailboat out. And so it's a game.
They were not very happy, I guess.
and so the International Paralympic Committees expect us when we want to put one sport in the Paralympic game to make a very scientific process in the classification and having a lot of people, a lot of athletes. So we have to grow the number of athletes in adaptative wave ski. And in the second way, we have to have a biomechanics university research.
Wow.
To explain,
that's interesting.
To explain why we use the classification tool. And so it's quite a long process. To go to the Paralympic Games, and sometimes it's a closer way to go to the Paralympic Games than to stay in only the World Championship way or European Championship way, because, for example, in the paracanoe sprint, we have only 3 impairment family authorized to go to the Paralympic Games. So we make the choice in the world way, in the International Canoe Federation, to invite only the 3 family impairment family in international race. And for example, in France, you can make canoe sprint, paracanoe sprint, whatever you have like impairment. You can be blind and do the race, and you can be cerebral trauma and do the race, and you can be have a cerebral palsy and do the race. This case can't go to the international way. It can go to the Paralympic Games because
yes, but let me stop you. Sorry if I interrupt you, because you're very technical and you motivate everything underneath a scientific aspect, which I respect. But I think what we can do individually is to promote this concept of wave ski and Paralympic sports as single users. What we can do is to promote it on the internet, on the social media, like, you know, pushing it very strongly. And for example, sharing information, sharing photos, creating groups, making awareness around it. Because I think that popularity will give a little boost, maybe, or maybe a big one, in order to being considered, and maybe the numbers of people doing the sport and the numbers that come out from single federations can also make a big influence on the decisions taken.
Yeah, you're right. The first step is having a lot of athletes.
Yes.
More than yet, and a lot of athletes with different impairment. What we can see at this time in WAVESKI, adaptive WAVESKI, is amputees and paraplegic, and I think we can have more than this impairment.
What is the reality in France? Who we have in France, for example, in WAVESKI?
I don't know all the athletes, but the athletes I meet are paraplegic athletes, incomplete paraplegic, very low impairment, and but paraplegic athletes. I know we have amputees, and I think we have one head trauma, and which is difficult to classify. For the first part, for the amputees and paraplegic athletes, it's quite easy to observe them and to classify, because we have the tool by the string paracanoe.
But it's more a linear function between the impairment and the practical result.
Yeah.
Okay, so what about creating like campaigns? Is the French Federation doing a campaign about what you're doing?
Not only what I am doing. I think the French Federation have a program. The WAVESKI part of the French Federation have a program to show the WAVESKI is open for a lot of people. And it is near with the surf school, and we make a very big job at the summer to invite a group of blind person or amputees person and in the school to show they can do WAVESKI, can be fun, etc.
But this is the first thing, you know. This is the first thing. Being in the surf schools.
Being in the surf school and come to the surf school to have a very good link with a teacher, with someone who can make the easy adaptation to permit you to go to the surf and to take the wave. Because if you have, for example, paraplegic and you are not very stable of your trunk, if you just buy a WAVESKI in kayak shop and go to the wave, you can't do anything anyway. So it's easier to go to a place you can find someone to help you to know how to adapt it, the situation, to show it's possible. For this moment, we have a very good boat, inflated WAVESKI, the Koala Softy. You know that?
No.
No, I think you know, as a very flat WAVESKI inflated.
The Koala Softy, yes, of course.
Koala Softy.
I have one.
Good. Yeah, it's very good. I think Gauthier Delanois.
Okay, let me just thank. I am officially thanking Mathieu Babarit, the inventor of this amazing tool, because he gave me one, and I am a representative in Canary Islands. I'm doing this with great pleasure to represent the Koala Softy, because I think it's a revolutionary tool to bridge between a specific sports like WAVESKI to the general public, to somebody who never saw any sitting board to surf with. So basically, he reinvented the wheel at some point. He made it popular.
It's a good thing. And we have, for example, double WAVESKI too.
Yes, he's making also the double one. It's coming out.
We have
soon.
a traditional WAVESKI in double with KS.
KS made it in fiberglass. Yes,
and it's a good tool. It's a good things to to give the first pleasure, the first surfing sensation.
You just said that. You see, the first sensation is the most important one, because the learning curve for WAVESKI is quite steep. So in the beginning, it can be also too challenging, maybe for, imagine a young kid, or for example, an overweight man, or a lady with which is not very secure about herself in the water. There are many cases. Okay, these are just stereotypes, basically. But if we make this curve assisted by a monitor, that would be quite easier in the beginning, or at least you're just taken to surf, and then the emotion can make you repeat. But something I would like to ask you is there a program to create monitors and instructors specifically dedicated to the adaptive surfing?
I'm not sure specifically on adaptive surfing, but we have a program a few programs to complete it as the instructor formation with capacity of doing canoe paddle sport with disabled person. So you can have this a small way for the only club instructor, volunteer, young people, and after when you come on professional instructor level, you have one part of your formation
like a module to add.
So everybody, when you are instructor, have some information of the capacity of do paddle sport canoe with disabled person, and but it's the same formation in France. It's the same formation to do to be in an instruction or canoe river and WAVESKI.
So you don't have to be a physiotherapist.
No, for the instruction you don't have to.
Okay, and let's talk also about safety. Okay. What is the difference between, what in your opinion as well, between the safety that should be taken into WAVESKI surfing and surfing in general and competitions, and what is the extra safety we need in case of the adaptive riders?
Oh, it's a big question. It's we have with Julie the same question when we work 2 years ago on the inclusion program on the ocean racing. We make the first world championship of ocean racing with disabled person.
Ocean racing is about surf ski, maybe? Or...
surf ski, surf ski. So when we say, okay, we go with disabled person on the sea, and in the sea with big wave to make surf ski, sometimes we say, for the surf ski, are you sure? And so we make the choice.
See you in the Caribbean. The current will take you, no worries.
We make the choice at the first time to permit it, to authorize only the less impairment class, the class 2 and class 3. The class 1 is person who have only the arm and the shoulder to paddling. We say, we don't do the security at this time. We don't know how to do. So it's the way we take in the World Championship of surf ski, and I think in WAVESKI it may be the same thing. But sometimes the athlete is very you have a lot of surprise with the athlete. For example, I was very surprised to see the paraplegic person make the rowing, the esquimotage, to come back on.
Yes.
What do they do that? And they can do that. And
yes. I can find a couple of videos.
Yeah.
Both Felipe Lima and Kyle Richardson, they are able to roll.
And I think I'm quite sure Guillaume Collin
Yes, of
do
course,
the same thing.
Guillaume, yes.
Yeah.
I met
And,
him in Fuerteventura. He was completely autonomous in the water.
Yeah, completely. Yeah. And we have a second case in the French championship, less impairment as Guillaume, who capsized, who put the board on, and who come back to the board between two waves.
Wow.
Take the thunder
Yeah,
and
using the push, of course. Yes.
Yes. So it's very, it's very surprising. But and I think I have seen a lot of video of person who have a lot of difficulty with the trunk, height level impairment in the trunk, who do WAVESKI safety. So I think we can have two ways to have the to be sure to be safe in the WAVESKI sport for adaptive athletes. It's one, having sometimes adaptative board. I have seen that some athletes have the seat quite in the board.
Yes, it's a lower gravity center that will help.
Yeah. When they have a very low trunk capacity, they are very, very quite down in the board.
That's why for some obvious reasons, physically reasons, the surf kayaking is much easier than WAVESKI because of the lower center of gravity.
Yeah. Exactly.
Sorry, I would like to ask to Julien B here. He just showed an image, so I'm trying to unmute you. What is it about? Hello, Julien, you have to unmute your conversation. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, it's not very speaking English very well for me.
Don't worry, you're welcome.
This is my system for the Vaha para canoe.
Yeah. Okay, outriggers.
Yeah. This is this new system for the ocean, to paddle the ocean.
Yeah,
it's very safety because it's not possible to
capsize.
Return.
Capsize.
To capsize. Yeah.
It's I don't know. This is it's a validation of international system, you know. Yann, je sais pas si on peut comment dire, que ça soit un système qui peut être validé au niveau alors national ou international, mais ça au niveau panaméricain, au niveau VA, là où je suis, et même du côté de Tahiti, ils sont très intéressés par ça.
Ouais. Alors, je réponds en français et puis après, je vais répondre en anglais. Donc, en fait, dans le système Canoe Sprint, donc pour le 200 mètres paralympique et tout ça, on a de la pirogue.
Ah, tu peux le faire en anglais parce que je comprends très bien en anglais.
OK. So,
mais après, pour parler, tu vois, des fois, ça...
Yeah. OK. So, for the sprint para canoe, we have only one pontoon motorized. But I don't know for the International VAR Federation, but we have a very specialist person as Julie Gray in the VAR Federation. Do you know it's good for the International VAR Association Federation, Julie, to have two pontons?
I don't think we've ever had anybody using a double pontoon, not in the IVF. But when we first started, certainly in paracanoe, even in sprint, we had some people who had a double pontoon. And I've seen certainly beginners would have double pontoon, even in kayak.
Yeah.
So and our rules state that, so the ICF rules state that you can have any adaptation as long as it's not, you know, sort of like a motor that makes you go faster.
But actually, outriggers should be slower, isn't it?
Yes, of
Yeah,
course, an
yeah.
outrigger will make the boat slower, but if
Yeah.
it makes it more stable for someone, then that is perfectly acceptable.
Yeah.
We are going. The best is to participate at this point.
Yes.
Being
Yes,
able to participate is a great achievement. So we just have 9 minutes left. I will try to condensate all my questions, and also cutting out some of them. And what do you think is the projection to the next world event in Peru about WAVESKI? What is the steps you're trying to do towards some implementation?
I think for this moment we work on with the French Federation in French event, and we try to have to find more and more athletes who do WAVESKI to exercise our tool. You know, we have make a tool who
Yes.
can do the moderate coefficient, and we have to be sure it's a good way, and it's not so inequality.
At least fair. At least the fair
Yeah,
system.
at least fair. So I think if we can do that in France, because Peru is not in this year, I think it's in.
No, it was
22.
postponed to 2022.
22, yeah. So we will have some event in France to make exercise.
When? Let's publicize it.
We have a first big event in the last week of June in Mimizan, the surf school Old Water, which is a very big surf school.
Yes, I'm following them since many years, and they are making a lot for the adaptive surfing.
Yeah.
A lot.
And I think I will try to go to some French Cup of WAVESKI when I know that Guillaume Collin or another adaptive web skier will go to make the observation more and more observation, to be sure. And we will have in 2021 another French championship of WAVESKI. So I think we may have few events to make exercise, to be more sure about us. And I think if the World Championship organization wants to try it, we can in 1 year we can have something to try on the World Championship.
Cool. So let me talk about my personal dream, okay? Because AO is a brand, but is also a mission for me. Basically, it started all as a mission, and so what I'm trying to do is to support economically or with gear or whatever it's possible to do the adaptive surfing in general. And one of my dreams is to create an event. Can be also sponsored or in partnership with official federation, etc. But what I want to be able to do is to do an event here in Lanzarote, where I live in the Canary Islands, about adaptive sports, especially adaptive surfing. We have oceanic waves, but there are some spots which can be possible to make it safe for adaptive, especially Famara Beach in Lanzarote. And what I'm trying to do now is to invite you all to brainstorm ideas on how to make this possible, which kind of sports can be put together in the same event. Teach me as well, because I don't have experience, how to put together all the basics about safety and transportation and whatever it's necessary to make possible this for adaptive athletes to participate and to travel, and all the necessary things and the safety measures to take in the water. So I don't know, maybe it would take 2 to 3 years for me to make this possible, but I would love to make an event, an adaptive surfing event in Lanzarote, open worldwide to anybody willing to participate.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Let's talk about it maybe in a few times and see what happens. Okay.
sometimes I think it's always like that, the para sport growing, especially when it is in the valid federation, and we have to beginning by small event where everybody who wants to have more information or to give some information can meet them.
A network.
And speak each
A
other.
network.
At the French Federation, at the French championship, the WAVESKI French championship, we make the world around the table with one beer glasses, and we have the all-water team, Guillaume Collin, Laurent, another adaptive surfing, and Myron and me, the two technical classifier in France on the WAVESKI adaptative, and we speak each other what we think, what we want to try, and we make the first operation like that by speaking each other and by sharing information.
After a few beers, I think informations flow better. I want to thank you, everybody here present, Yann, Julie, Julien B, and Marjolaine, which is only on chat. Sorry for not answering to your questions directly, but I was busy talking here. And I will invite you for the next time we connect, because I would like to make it like periodically to meet and talk about adaptive surfing. It's something which I would like to follow more than one time, not just a single Zoom call. So maybe once every month or every 2 months. What do you think, Yann?
Yeah, I think we can do as you want.
This is an open space. Anyone can offer a topic to talk about, and we can plan a Zoom call and make it public. What do you think?
Yeah, we can have yes, another way, perhaps with all-water team, and so perhaps in the end of April or beginning of May.
Could be. Yes. So we will make a big room. We will make a bigger room with more people.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your invitation.
You're very welcome. See you soon.
See you soon.
This will be online as soon as possible. I'll try to put it on my YouTube channel, and you will find it. Just follow my Facebook page. You will find all the links.
Okay, thanks very much.
Goodbye. Thank you.
Goodbye,
Thank you,
everybody.
Julie. Thank you, Julien. Thank you, Marjorie. Bye-bye.
Bye.